Hey, we're back on the radio, John.
Yeah, we are. But this is not our normal radio show, is it?
No, it is not. So, do you want to explain this, or do you want me to explain this?
I'll explain this.
All right, you got this, man.
All right. Basically, we love hearing ourselves talk so much
that we do
that one show was simply not enough for us. So we have to get a second show. So this is our sports show because we always open up the video game show with sports.
It's always like, okay, we'll get to the video games in a minute, but you're not gonna believe what happened in the world of sports.
Yeah, we get derailed for about 10 minutes, and it just takes up all our time. So we thought, why not take a 50-minute show to talk about sports?
Right? Yeah. So basically, so this is the show. I think we're calling it the Jay-Z Sports Show.
The Jay-Z Sports Report
with
Jay-Z.
Hopefully, Jay-Z won't sue us.
Yeah, maybe he'll even be on.
Oh man,
Who knows?
That'd be great.
That would be pretty good.
So on this show, John is gonna be the host. I will be the co-host. When we go to our video game show, which is now gonna be at 3:00 on Fridays, I will be the host, and John Rector here will be my co-host once again.
The tables will turn.
They will be turning every week, every Wednesday and every Friday, only at WCNU Radio.
That's right. And for those of you wondering, our video game show is going to be Friday, 3 to 4:30.
Yes, 3 to 4:30. That matches our schedules a lot better, and it makes it easier for us. So that's why we took it back an hour. Because Cam's Log doesn't have it anymore, because they took that 3 to 4 o'clock hour. That pissed off both you and me.
Yeah, what happened?
We were like,
what happened to the captain's log? They tried. They tried so hard.
They tried. I think I only saw them in here like once. Oh, during last semester. I think it was like they were only here like once.
Well, you know, Zach, not everybody can have the talk show prowess
that you and me have.
That you and I have.
All the experience that we have.
Not you and me, you and I.
Oh, right, you and I.
New show, same grammar. All right, so without further ado, let's get to the sports.
Yes,
so
let's.
Obviously, story number 1, the NFL Championship games.
Oh, man, okay, the Patriots and Denver, that was a lot of fun to watch, but man, that Carolina-Arizona game, that was rough.
It just totally flipped everybody's expectations of what the games were be. Because coming into the game, even though Denver was at home, everybody thought that New England was going to crush them. And here with Carolina and Arizona, we thought that was going to be the close game. That was the one that I know that I was looking forward to the most as a really good matchup. And lo and behold, the Broncos-Patriots goes into a thriller that takes to the last play of the game. And the NFC Championship is over by halftime. You got to stop watching.
The NFC.
As a Cardinals fan, you probably did. Oh yeah,
there was probably like, well, there goes our season.
and I started to think when I was watching the AFC Championship game that Peyton Manning, he had probably his best game of the year.
Yeah,
he threw for like 200 yards.
Yeah, that was probably his best game.
Yeah, but I mean the stats didn't show it. He did have a great game if you just watched it, but statistically, it was not his most powerful performance. No. In his career, in his very eloquent career. But I got to thinking that he has to be the guy. Like, Brock Osweiler can't start. And let me explain. Because we all know that Brock Osweiler can throw the football better than Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah.
I think
that kid when Peyton Manning retires, that team is his.
Right. It's not too disputed that even at this moment, Peyton Manning does not have the arm talent that Brock Osweiler does. However, Peyton Manning has to be the one on there, and I'll explain it. I have never played football. However, I am on the club volleyball team, very competitive team in Division III club volleyball. And our setter, Mike, is a very good setter. He's an all-star as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. But if Mike had an injured ankle or an injured wrist, I would still want him out there. Yeah. Because not only is his setting great and his vision on the court, he makes everybody else better. He puts the ball in different places. He knows how to run the offense. He's the guy that brings us together. It's not just his physical abilities; it's his presence on the field, on the court.
I think this also goes down to a thing too of experience too. Payne's been in the league now since '99, so that's he has nearly 20 years of experience, and this will be his 3rd Super Bowl trip. So, there is that thing, though, having someone that much experience and being able to say, all right, look, let's calm it down. This is what we got to do, things like that. I think that is also a huge aspect of having Peyton Manning start as well.
Right. And playing in the NFL, especially in the playoffs, is hard. Yeah. Like, it's not an easy job to play quarterback in the National Football League well.
No, it's not. Because it's really the only league that has playoffs in which it's one and done. You know, and I know NCAA basketball, I know NCAA football is one and done too. But those technically aren't leagues. That's technically an organization. You know, but like I said, the NFL is the only major sports league where its playoffs are one and done. If you screw up one playoff game in the NBA, NHL, MLB, you have 4 other games to try and make up for it. But in NFL, you have one bad game, you're done.
Right. There's no comeback. It's all about how can you get your guys fired up for this one game. Peyton Manning, to me, has control of the locker room.
Yep.
Brock Osweiler, well, I think he did play well in his stint this season. He had a couple of rocky games, and that one against San Diego, it shows you.
Yeah.
None of those interceptions were his fault, but the way that he orchestrated the offense could have been better.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, he made the throws. He threw an interception that bounced right off, I think it was Demaryius Thomas's hands. That's not really his fault. However, the offense is simply better with Peyton Manning on the field.
Oh, yeah, it definitely
I'm
is.
convinced of that.
Yeah, I know, I agree with that. I think looking at the matchup, though, between Carolina and Denver, honestly, though, I'm getting really bad flashbacks to Seattle and Denver. And we all remember how that game went when it was finished 43-8 Seattle.
Broncos had a safety on the first play of the game, and it actually got better from that point on.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But you know, Carson Palmer in the NFC Championship, he had what we like to refer to as a full Delhomme. He had 4 interceptions, a couple of fumbles.
Oh, my God.
It was quite a day for Carson Palmer.
I think, though, this says a lot about Carolina, though, because, I mean, the fact that they have a defense that's now built like Seattle's, that says a lot about how they've been able to do this the past, 3 years. They've been just slowly putting in the right pieces together.
Yes.
And these aren't even guys that are, real, Pro Bowler guys, something like that. These guys just work hard, do their job, and they just get it done, you know?
Yeah.
And that says a lot about the Carolina defense.
When you look at the defense for Carolina, they have about 40 Pro Bowlers on the defensive side of the ball. But the offense is Cam Newton, Greg Olsen, really good offensive linemen.
Yep.
Who's he throwing to? Besides Greg Olsen, it's Ted Ginn and some other guys.
A couple other guys.
Some other guys.
But the fact that they can still perform to a really good caliber says a lot. And again, and that says a lot about Cam Newton as well, that he trusts these guys, that he can just throw them the ball like that. He has enough faith in them to be like, all right, we'll throw it to you, you better catch it, you know? And they do it. They do it. I mean, there were some, I watched parts of the Carolina Arizona, there were some passes that was like, oh, you should have caught that or something like that. But 9 times out of 10, though, they did their best to lay out for these catches.
Yeah, goes to show you, if you have a good quarterback and a good team collectively, not just a good quarterback, a good wide receiver, a good running back, you need to have a collective bunch of players that are going to the same goal with one guy to lead them.
By the way, I want to point out, 2 days after it was the day after the Patriots lost, they fired their offensive line coach.
Yeah. So, I mean, you had to figure that with about 30, I believe it was 30 different combinations of offensive linemen that, somebody had to roll.
It's funny in a way, because it's like, think about it, that was the same guy that last year helped that offensive line, helped them win the Super Bowl, and now he's out of a job. Man.
Yes.
That's crazy what a year makes.
Injuries were a problem, but also the fact that they just played poorly.
I agree.
I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the coaching. Maybe it was something else. It's certainly not Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Can't blame them.
No. All right, so at the end of the day, John.
At the end of the day.
Who do you think is winning the Super Bowl?
Man, it's really hard to go against Carolina at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, at this point, it's I mean, it'd be great because you have to figure this is probably going to be Peyton Manning's last game. He's probably done after this. But the way Carolina's playing, the way that they're all just how organized and how well Coach Juan Rivera has that team going right now, I think it's going to be Carolina by at least 20.
Yeah, I mean, you'd love to see the John Elway effect and see Peyton Manning ride out into the sunset, as it were, with the Super Bowl ring, the same way that Elway did. But, I mean, Carolina, they've deserved it. They've done everything right.
They've played their hearts out this season.
Absolutely. They've orchestrated an offense and a defense that has led them to the best record in the NFL, 1 seed. They've dominated every single game, albeit the second half of that Seahawks game. And the Atlanta Falcons game, but they have really been the epitome of perfection this NFL season. It's really hard to go against them, and I think they deserve it.
Yeah, I agree. Again, like I said, I think this is gonna be a whooping. I may just watch that Super Bowl just for the trailers and the commercials.
Yeah, and I feel like the second half that really is all.
It's gonna be like, oh hey, cool, new commercial, great. Oh, Peyton Manning 3 interception. What do you know?
Yeah, let's throw another Eminem commercial up there.
Why not? You know,
they have 4 1 year.
God, love, man. Yeah, there wasn't there?
Yeah. All right, so
I want to ask, by the way, what the heck happened to your hand? You have a nice little gash on your hand. What
All right,
happened?
yeah, injury timeout.
Here we go.
I've been put on the injury report for a day or two because, as I mentioned before, play volleyball.
Yeah.
I was going for a pass.
Here we
Had
go.
to dive for it. Got the pass. It was a beautiful pass.
Yeah.
Good ball. Right up to the setter. However, when you're coming down after a dive like that, you're supposed to land on your chest and sort of slide. I sort of extended my palms forward, and my entire wrist slid off of my body.
Ow. That's...
So, yeah, I meant to put a Band-Aid on it because I just went to the career fair, and I didn't want to be giving all of my potential employers staff. But, you know.
I just saw that. I was like, oh, God, what did John do this time?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm roughed up. I had to put, like, bandage and tape on it the other day, tape it on my whole hand to keep it from falling off. I mean, it really looked worse than it was.
Your whole hand from falling off. Just
Yeah.
like, oh, there goes my hand.
It's really just like a hole in my wrist. It's nothing big.
Nah, it's nothing. You know, shake
You know.
it off, you know? Walk it off.
I will prevail. If Peyton Manning can come back from 4 neck surgeries, I can certainly come back from a bruise.
Those like surgeries. Owie.
All
All
right,
right, so John, what's next?
Zachary.
Yes.
Did you see any of the moves that the Eagles made yesterday and earlier in this week?
No, I did not, but you know what I did see? I saw that my Ducks beat the crap out of the Boston Bruins 6-2 last night.
Yes, they did.
I'm so proud of them right now.
Dude, your Ducks are coming
They're
up.
coming back.
They're coming up. Because,
oh, yeah, continue on, though.
well, I was going to say, we'll get to the NHL in a second,
Yes.
but while we're still rattling on, on the NFL wagon right now,
So what's up with the Eagles?
the Eagles have signed Zach Ertz, their tight end, to a contract extension.
Yeah, I think I saw this. It was like 4 years, $42 million, I think?
It was 4 years, $42 million with $20 million guaranteed, if I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head.
And it's their tight end?
That's their tight end. And a lot of people had the same reaction that you just did, which is, really?
Why?
Really?
I mean, I'm not sure what you mean when I says that. He ain't no Gronk.
But
You know.
I'm going to explain it to you.
Okay.
Zach Ertz, because I love the draft. I do love the NFL draft.
I know
And
you
I see all these guys coming out of college, and I try to project where they're going to go. And Zach Ertz, to me, he's a baller. He is a really good tight end. The Eagles really have a good player in him, but he hasn't excelled in the last few years. And people have been pointing out, how can you give a guy with those poor statistics this amount of money, especially that much guaranteed, for a tight end?
And my thing is this: if you remember the stats, I was like 896 reception yards. I think like 5-6 TDs. I think last year, or something like that.
But when you think about it, who really excelled in that offense last year? I know it wasn't Sam Bradford. I know we had a few good games down the stretch, but I know it wasn't Sam Bradford.
Yeah,
I know it wasn't DeMarco Murray.
That offense is
He's getting paid more than Zach Ertz is.
Yeah, that offense is a huge mess right now.
And I know it wasn't Jordan Matthews who had drops. But let me explain the logic. You have a new coach, Doug Peterson, who is coming over from Kansas City. Kansas City has a tight end named Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
You don't think
true.
Doug Peterson would like to establish some kind of rapport like that with a good tight end?
True
Zach
that, true
Ertz
that.
is a fantastic player. I do not care what the statistics say. If you watch him play the game of football, he's really good at it. That's about all I can say about it.
So you're thinking that Doug Peterson, when he comes over to Philly, he's gonna be able to work his magic and get a good tight end, set up a good tight end situation. He's gonna start with.
He's already got a good tight end. People
But
just
he
don't
needs
know
to be
it
he
yet.
needs to be probably coached, is what it is.
Yeah, well, even coaching and put in the right system, because Chip Kelly is not exactly the kind of person you want your tight end, your big body tight end. He wants these fast receivers. Apparently, he wanted DeMarco Murray. Saw that out of left field, and not the kind of guy I would have expected. But he wants these fast guys, the guys that can run up tempo. Doug Peterson is going to run a more traditional style offense like you saw in Kansas City that uses not the wide receivers that much, but the tight ends and the running backs. He has a very good tight end, and he's got a couple of good running backs out of the backfield, and Darren Sproles and Ryan Matthews. So Doug Peterson is shaping this offense into what he wants it to be, and judging Zach Ertz by the standards set by Chip Kelly isn't really fair to me or effective.
I see what you mean. Because that's the biggest thing I think that they were talking about with Chip Kelly. I mean, especially like DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray really struggled last season, but that's because of the fact of Chip Kelly's not really known for having a good running game mind. He's more passing it, and that's what you're talking about. Where he wants those fast, speedy guys, fast, speed wide receivers one night.
Which DeMarco Murray is not.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing that you look at when he was coach of Oregon. He had Marcus Mariota. So guess what he relied a lot on? The passing game. And the other thing with Marcus Mariota, he could run. And that was evident in week 13, playing against Jacksonville, 89-yard TD run by Marcus Mariota. I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's my boy right there because I'm a Titans fan. But that's the thing. I mean, like I said, it's one of those things where people want to keep criticizing the players. You know, and it's a weird slippery slope in a way where it's like you want to get mad at the players because, like, okay, they're not putting up the numbers. But then at the end of the day, it's like, no, but that's the coach's fault because they're not, he's not using the right system. He's not using his players properly. That's what it is at the end of the day.
Right. I don't think anybody doubts that DeMarco Murray is a good running back. He led
fantastic.
He led the league in rushing in Dallas. But it's ultimately system. Chip Kelly wanted him to run sideways. DeMarco Murray wants to run forwards.
Yeah. I really wonder if Murray regrets coming to Philly, like leaving Dallas.
Nah, I'm sure he's fine with it.
You think so?
Hey, as a Titans fan, how much did you want Chip Kelly to come to Tennessee?
Oh, man.
Be reunited with Marcus Mariota?
I was kind of split on that because I was like, okay, that'd be great because, you know, hey,
he's got the quarterback.
He has his quarterback, which means he'd know what to do with it. But then I looked at what happened with the Eagles. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I was kind of split on it. He'd be great for him to have the quarterback. He'd be able to get some good wide receivers. Odell Beckham, Odell Beckham Jr.
Delaney Walker.
Him, Walker, and
Dorial Green Beckham.
That's right.
That's right.
I think
tremendous. He probably would have been one of the top wide receivers taken last year.
I think so.
If it wasn't for all the off-field problems, he's a tremendous talent.
He's a fantastic talent. He has so much, height on him. He has the reach. He's your perfect star wide receiver. That's your go-to guy. He is your Odell Beckham Jr. He is your Steve Smith, your Larry Fitzgerald, and that's your go-to guy.
He's even got the diva effect of your star wide receiver.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Perfect.
So I mean, yeah, like I said, I think we'll work with Chip in Tennessee, but like I said, at the same time, you see how much the defense struggled. You see the running game was not there at all. Even in Tennessee, they have no running game whatsoever, which is why a lot of people are saying the running back from who's from Ohio State University.
Oh, Ezekiel Elliott.
I think they want him, but there's someone else that they want to go number one to the Titans. Some other running back.
Joey Bosa. You might be thinking of the defensive end from Ohio State.
That's what I'm thinking of. I keep
Bosa.
thinking of that. But I know people are saying that it's either the Titans need work offensively and defensively. Offensively, they need a running back. They need to establish the running game. Defensively, they need more defensive players. And I feel like it'd be way too much for Chip Kelly. So I still don't agree with them hiring Malarkey, though. I'd rather have gone I was like, son of a... get us Lovie Smith or something. I think Smith would have been a great fit for Tennessee.
Yeah, he would have been a good fit in Tampa Bay.
He would have been a good fit anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't understand that whole situation with Tampa Bay. That's a load of crap.
It just goes to show you... I mean, I guess they fired him so that they could keep their offensive coordinator.
And they promoted the offensive coordinator, yeah.
Who was more important to Jameis Winston? It's
like, no, you keep the coach. You can find other offensive coordinators. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Or even you have to have Lovie Smith call the plays.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you that quarterback in this league might be more important than literally anything else.
Yeah.
Head coach, offensive coordinator.
And it's funny how it just changed in the past 20 years. Looking at the old NFL stuff, and it's like you sell more of a balance or more dominance of the running game and whatnot, and now you're seeing it's all about the quarterback now.
Exactly.
So
all right, one final note. Zach, have you seen the Pro Bowl roster this year?
I saw bits of it. Yes.
Have you seen? Do you know? All right, 6 quarterbacks in the Pro Bowl.
Right.
Can you take a guess who they are, remembering that Cam Newton can't play?
Right, Cam Newton can't play. I think I saw Jameis Winston is one of them, which I'm shocked at, but he did have a really good year, so congratulations Jameis Winston on that one. Tom Brady?
Nope.
Brady? Really? Alex Smith?
Nope.
Oh man, Phillip Rivers?
Nope.
Whoa.
Keep going down the
list. Let me see. Okay, it can't be Peyton because he's playing. No Cam. Russell Wilson.
He is in there.
Hey, all right, got one. Carson Palmer.
Nope.
What?
Would you I feel like we're going to be at this for a while if you keep going down the list of
I'm
good
just going down the
quarterbacks.
list in my head, it's...
All right, because it might be easier for you to start ascending the list of starting quarterbacks. All right.
Oh, like Derek Carr?
Jameis Winston.
Okay.
Tyrod Taylor of the Buffalo Bills.
Really?
Derek Carr of the Raiders, who I love. I do love Derek Carr.
Derek Carr's really good. I think he's really underrated quarterback.
Eli Manning.
Oh.
Russell Wilson.
Okay.
And the coup de grace, Teddy Bridgewater. Let me explain to you how this cavalcade of mediocre
kidding
quarterbacks
me.
came together. And I'm a Vikings fan. I think Teddy Bridgewater's great, but he's not a Pro Bowl quarterback.
No, he's not.
Dude threw 14 touchdowns this year. 4 of them came in one game. So Jameis Winston replaces Tom Brady, who declined. Tyrod Taylor replaces Cam Newton, who declined. I also like Taylor. I think he's a great guy.
Tyrod Taylor's really good. He still needs some work and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when he was playing Virginia Tech, he was great, and I remember like people were waiting for him to finally get a spot. I think he had a pretty good first season. I'm curious to see how the offseason go between him and EJ Manuel. I know EJ kind of wants to be in that starting role, but I mean Tyrod keeps playing. I mean he did good. He did good for a
Pro Bowl quarterback.
First year, yeah, right. First year head coach. Well, not first year head coach, but I mean first year under Rex Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the team did. I mean they went 6-10, I think, or 7-9 or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a good first year for Buffalo. I'm sorry. After all the years they've had crap, that's a great first year for them. They have a possible like good 1-2 combo at quarterback.
Yeah, the fact that you might actually have a quality starting quarterback is amazing.
Yeah.
But if we keep it down, Teddy Bridgewater, who replaced Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer, to be fair, did have an injury on his finger. A lot of people think it impacted his performance in the NFC Championship.
Yeah,
One would like to think so. Derek Carr, who replaces Aaron Rodgers, who is the biggest wuss in the league and declines his invitation every year because he's got like turf toe or something
and
like
he's
that.
banging Olivia Munn. So
Yeah. Good Lord.
Let's remind everyone of that for a minute.
Yeah, shout out to Aaron Rodgers and his softness. Eli Manning, who replaces Ben Roethlisberger. Eli Manning, by the way, is probably the best quarterback on this list.
Question: is it because of Ben's injuries or?
Do not think so.
If I had to hazard a guess, it'd be because Ben got really roughed up this season. He's probably like, yeah, let me give me some time off.
Yeah, I think he could have played if it was a real game, but obviously. It's the Pro Bowl. And then Russell Wilson, who actually, he is probably the best quarterback.
So
Russell Wilson's the only guy who did not decline his invitation.
So 5 declined, and then those were the backups.
More than that, Phillip Rivers also declined invitation.
I know he says because of personal reasons.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
I think he wanted that last game to be the last game in San Diego in a San Diego Chargers uniform.
Yeah. They're going to LA. I think they're going to LA.
But yeah, we look at those quarterbacks.
Not Eli, especially not Eli, and not. But I mean, at the same time, but then you think about it. Then I mean, the thing I'm kind of shocked at is that I'm sorry, I would pick Alex Smith over Eli Manning.
I would too. I think he had a great game.
I think I would even.
Let me look up and see if he declined.
Can I be honest? I would also take Joe Flacco over a couple of those other guys.
Well, Joe Flacco was injured for most of this year. Under normal conditions.
Yeah, true, but even
I still don't know if he's healthy.
I would still take him. I would take an injured Joe Flacco over Terry Bridgewater right now. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying.
No. I mean, I would take a healthy Joe Flacco over almost anybody. But yeah, it appears.
I am also kind of. I'll be honest for a second. As a Titans fan, I am kind of miffed that Mariota wasn't at least considered for it because he did have a good rookie year. Him and James Winston actually had pretty good rookie years. I mean, James Winston, I think, did have a better one. And it's, let's be honest for a second. The offensive line of the Titans failed Mariota because he got injured and whatnot. But I still think he had a pretty good first year. He should have at least been considered. I hope he was at least considered for a Pro Bowl selection.
Yeah, it looks like Alex Smith was also selected to the Pro Bowl, but
he
declined his invitation as well.
Why are they all declining it?
I don't know, but the thing is this a problem? Because when you look at the quarterbacks, I mean,
it could be. Is
Teddy Bridgewater and Tyrod Taylor, who I both like and think are great.
Are they Pro Bowlers?
No. And do you think the people are gonna want to watch them? Is that gonna help the Pro Bowl's declining views?
Because let's be honest about this for a second too. I mean, it's like the Pro Bowl is at the end of the season. It's not like halfway through the season like the NHL and the MLB and the NBA.
Yeah.
I just thought about that. And even NASCAR. NASCAR has their All-Star race in Charlotte, North Carolina. But that's in the middle of the season too. And the winner of that gets $1 million. Johnny on the spot right there. So there's an incentive to win. The MLB game, it's whoever wins gets home field advantage of the World Series. That's a huge incentive. NBA is just fun. Dunk contest, all that jazz. And the NHL is doing that too now with a 3-on-3 format this year and just having fun, like fastest shot, who can get around the ring the fastest, all that jazz. I'll be honest, some guy, I think it was Ovechkin or some other guy, hit a puck at 170 miles an hour. I was like, what the heck?
That's a bullet. That would kill you.
Yeah, I would not want to be the goalie. He was going, oh, God. Oh,
that will murder you on the ice.
But that's the thing, though, like with the Pro Bowl, is that it's like there's no reason to play it, honestly.
Do you want to know how much money the players make?
How much?
I looked it up last night, actually. The
Do your
winners.
research. I'm proud of you.
The winners. Hey, man, I'm prepared. The winners of the Pro Bowl, the coaches and the players, all make $58,000 each. The losers make $27,000.
That's nothing.
That's
nothing
nothing
compared to like their
That's
salaries.
not even. You can question my math because I suck at math, but I don't even think that's a game check.
No, it's not
for a minimum
for all of
wage.
them. For all of them, that's not even game check.
An
That's
undrafted
not.
rookie would make more money.
I mean, if I
in
remember,
one
I mean,
game.
you have to figure on minimum they probably make what 300,000 a game.
It's more than that. It used to be 360. I think it's 410 now.
Yeah.
Is the rookie
Just
minimum.
bare minimum. Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing. Even if you sign a guy to a 1 year, $10 million contract, he's still making over 500,000. He's maybe making over 400,000 a game. That's nothing for them. I mean, and that thing says a lot. Like I said, there's no reason for the Pro Bowl. There's no reason, for incentive wise. I mean, if you look at the college, when college does the All-Star game, which is the Senior Bowl, that makes sense because those are guys that are going into the draft.
You need it.
Their chance. It is their
And we'll talk
opportunity.
about the Senior Bowl later.
Cool. This is their opportunity to show off. So there's no reason to have the Pro Bowl. I mean, honestly, for my thing, why not just go ahead and say, hey, these are the Pro Bowl guys, thumbs up. Like the All-American awards that they give out in college football. And you don't have the All-American college football game. No, you made All-American. Good job.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. Go back out there.
And then you have the Senior Bowl to celebrate the guys who stayed for 4 years or to complete their degree.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
The rest, to be fair, the rest of the Pro Bowl roster is pretty fair. There are a couple of exceptions, namely the fact that Gary Barnidge of the Browns their tight end is in the Pro Bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But other than that, the rest of the roster is not that bad. But the
But still,
quarterbacks are obviously the headline.
I think this is going to start becoming a problem in the next couple of years. I think you're going to see a lot more people starting to deny it or like, yeah, no. And then it goes back to the argument. When you have your backups playing the Pro Bowl, no one's going to watch that. They want to see Eli throw a touchdown pass to Larry Fitzgerald. Like, they want to see that because that's like sports fantasy 101,
The second Derek Carr, Eli Manning, and Russell Wilson stop playing in that game is when I stop watching.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I know, well, I'll watch Teddy. But, I mean, as a Vikings fan, I know that he doesn't deserve to be there.
Yeah. He does.
Anyway,
So.
that's my rants about the Pro Bowl.
I know, you're good. You're good.
All right.
So, what's next?
Let's throw it to some NHL.
All right.
That's your realm of expertise.
You're wild suck right now.
That's about all that you can say.
I'm shocked with the Ducks right now. I think they've won 7 of their last 9. They're steadily coming back.
They have. They've played very, very well down the stretch.
The only thing I'm worried about right now, though, is that it's kind of thing, though, it's like because of how tough the West is, it seems like it's a little too late, A, and then B, Sean Horkoff, one of their veteran centers, just got suspended 20 games for PED use. So it's like, well, great.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Anaheim Ducks
But
schedule.
apparently, it didn't matter because, again, they beat Boston 6-2 last night. 6 different Ducks scored last night, including a couple defensive men.
They've scored... They've won 5 of their last 6, including wins against the Senators and the Stars and the Bruins and the Red Wings and the Wild.
Yeah.
Fancy that. The Wild, however, they have been slipping.
Yeah, I mean, they're still, I think, like, let me check the standings last night. I think they're like 6th or 5th right now in the West. But
We've lost 7 of our last 8 and
Oh.
8 of our last 10.
Oh.
Some of them in very disappointing fashion. We lost to the Predators 0-3, scoreless against the Jets. Yeah, our one win was at the Kings, which is fairly impressive. But
Yeah, I mean, the Kings are actually, I mean, that's the funny thing, too. I remember people were talking about that. It was like the Pacific Division, which has mainly been the Kings, the Ducks, and San Jose, and then I believe it's also
Arizona's in there.
Arizona's in
Who's
there.
actually in the third spot right now. They would be in the playoffs.
Winnipeg's in there. No, Winnipeg's not in the Pacific.
Winnipeg is in the Central.
That's it. Yeah, Edmonton. No, Calgary. Calgary's in the Pacific.
Calgary is in the Pacific, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but I remember people talking about last season, the Pacific was the most dominant division, and now it's like really it's only the Kings who are having somehow another good season, and the
Yeah.
I mean,
to put it in
and Arizona, you bring a good point. Arizona's actually probably is having a surprisingly good season. I mean, after all the struggles they've had the past couple years, especially with their home situation, whatnot, all that jazz, I'm shocked that Arizona's so good. But I mean, hey, again, it's that thing where you see this. I think more prevalent in the NHL than anything else. You just get a good group of guys together.
Yeah.
You can win.
And I think if you look at all these numbers, really the difference between second place and sixth place in the West Pacific is 5 points. That's
wow.
not
That's
too hard to make up.
That's
if you go on a run.
If you go on a run, that's all you need. And that's the thing with the Ducks, only 3 points out. They get on a good run, they're going to be climbing up those. I mean, the thing is just the thing I'm really disappointed in is I took the Ducks half a season to get going again. And again, the one thing I remember I was talking with Mia about, because we're both Ducks fans, I indoctrinated her into the House of Quack. Was that it's like you can only have your players do so much. At the end of the day, it goes back to the whole thing with Chip Kelly and Philly. You got to probably motivate your players. You got to really get them going and things like that. And that, I think, is also with David Blatt in with the Cleveland Cavaliers and the NBA and whatnot. Are we going to talk about that today? Or
we can get into that. I got NBA on the docket. But
that was rough to
just
watch.
as another note about the NHL, you were talking about the depth of the West Pacific. Let me put it this way. Nashville is tied for 7th. That's second worst in the West Central Division. They would be in 3rd place in the Western Pacific Conference. They would be in the playoffs were they in the West Pacific.
Yeah.
So West Central is very strong. And honestly, all the conferences and all the divisions have been really, really strong this year at the top end. Especially, Washington.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. I remember they were talking about both the West and the East was that the West. No Canadian team may make it to the playoffs because somehow after Montreal started the season, I think like 11 wins, one loss in overtime, and then no wins overall. They have just struggled, and they're I think right now 6. And same thing with the Rangers too. The Rangers were on top for a while, and now they're starting to struggle too. And it's one of those things where you gotta wonder what the heck. I wonder if it's just they're running out of gas at this point. They're just all right. We need this break,
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the standings, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, and Ottawa, they are all at the bottom of their respective conferences.
And it's funny, they were all playoff teams last year.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Florida, Los
the
Angeles,
Florida Panthers,
Dallas, San Jose, and Arizona.
Let's talk about those Florida Panthers for a quick minute.
Yeah.
That is a really impressive team right there. I've seen them play.
That is really impressive.
Good passing. They know how to get the forecheck going. They have great goaltending in Luongo, and I don't even know who the backup is to Luongo, but he's pretty good too.
Yeah.
But and it's just good defense. They have Jaromir Jagr as your veteran who is just leading the team right now. You re-signed certain guys that gets them going again. I'll be honest. I could see Florida making a deep run.
I could too. I could see them possibly contending for the championship.
I could see them,
if not the
playing.
Cup.
I could see them playing OV and the Caps for the Eastern Conference Championship. That's gonna be a fun thing.
That's possibly what's gonna come down to. You can't forget about New York Rangers, obviously.
Yeah, but again, the way New York's playing, they've been struggling so much. The same thing with Montreal. When you think about the powerhouses of the East, really only Washington is doing really well right now. The Bruins have been struggling since they won the Stanley Cup back in 2011. Did they win? Yeah, they did because they almost won in 2000. Oh, something. Anyway, they won the Cup I think 6 years ago or something like that. They've been struggling since then though. The Rangers are just falling apart. Same thing with the Canadians. And it's really, Florida's now stepped up, and you never know. I mean, even New Jersey, the New Jersey Devils have threatened to be a possible playoff contender. I mean, not as in they're good, as in they can make it to the Eastern Conference Championship, but they can still maybe make a run in the playoffs. I mean, that's what you expected in the East. So, like I said, there's that whole power thing going on. But then you look at the West, it's still Chicago. It's still Dallas, who has been resurging. The only team, the Kings, you always expect the Kings to be in the playoffs.
The Blues as well.
The Blues are doing good. The Wild are doing.
They were doing
good.
20 days ago, you would have told me the Wild are awesome. I would have agreed with you.
The Ducks, they're struggling, but now that they're starting to find their groove again, I wouldn't be shocked if the Ducks finished maybe top 4, top 5 in the West.
It's not crazy to think. But when you talk about the East, who else do you really see making a run? You have Washington, you have Florida, you have New York, maybe. Other than that, Detroit is in 4th place. They're down. Boston's having a down year. Tampa Bay, even they are not as strong as they normally are.
Tampa Bay, you have to think about a year ago, was in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The only real Stanley Cup contender I see in the East is the Capitals and the Panthers. All these other teams are just struggling so much.
Meanwhile, if you throw a dartboard at a Western Conference board, you're going to hit a contender.
You're going to hit a contender no matter what. Even teams that are struggling like Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Winnipeg has such a physical series with the Ducks last year. Yes, they got swept by the Ducks, but that was still I don't care if it was a sweep. That was such a close series. I was on the edge of my seat for almost all those games because at any time I knew Winnipeg could come back. That's a team that just needs a couple of good forwards. You get one good veteran in there. You shake up the goaltending a little bit. They could have a good team right there.
Yeah, we haven't even really talked about Chicago, and they're in the lead.
Chicago. I mean, that's the thing. No matter what, I mean, they lost Marian Hossa and a couple of other guys. They're still on top of the West.
Yeah.
And like, that says a lot about Chicago's farm system and also just how they are in the offseason when it comes to trades and signing on new guys and things like that.
They're the New England Patriots of the NHL.
They're hated by everyone,
yeah,
but they do so good every year. Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too, man.
And they always find a way to rebound.
Beat the Ducks in 7 last year.
That's right. They beat both of us.
Yeah, screw Chicago. They beat my team. I think they beat the Ducks back-to-back. No, it was the LA Kings, then it was Chicago.
They definitely beat the Wild back-to-back years in the playoffs at one point.
Oh, man. So, what else do we have on the docket then, John?
All right. Let's move on to the basketball.
Yeah.
The basketball.
I'm really disappointed. The only thing I'm really upset about right now with basketball is just the whole David Blatt situation in the Cavaliers. Yeah. Like, to let go of a guy when you guys are 30-11 and say, oh, he wasn't living up to expectations. Like, what expectations do you have? This is not a Golden State Warriors caliber team. I feel
like when you make a firing like this,
yeah,
and especially considering the amount of injuries that the Cleveland Cavaliers have had at the beginning of the season, not so much now. They're all regaining their health.
Pretty much.
But if you fire him knowing that you have the best record in the East, if you made it to the NBA Finals last year in a matchup against you were horribly underpowered against, there's no way you're beating Golden State.
I mean,
you're admitting that you made a wrong decision firing
and this is the thing, though. I mean, yes, they were horribly underpowered. They still lasted 6.
Yeah.
And those were some really close games against Golden State. There really weren't any blowouts. But let's talk about Golden State for a minute, and the reason why Golden State beat him by 30 a couple weeks ago, which led to his firing, is because Golden State is just so much more complete team, and they have all their guys back now.
Right.
You have Klay Thompson, obviously Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala. He's still having some problems here and there, but he's still good. Harrison Barnes is trying to find his rhythm too. But even when you have 2 guys that are trying to find their rhythm, you can rely on the rest of the team.
Right.
And the other thing too, also, it was the thing with David Blatt's coaching, because there were certain players that had no playing time in certain games. Like they sat on the bench the whole time. That is on David Blatt. But if you don't give him players that A, match his system, or B, that he is confident in, he's not going to play them.
And ultimately, you have LeBron James, you have Kyrie Irving, you had Kevin Love. I don't really understand. Obviously, you're going to win with that team. So when you get down to the firing, what are the reasons for it? You're admitting that it was a culture thing, like we talked about earlier, with that culture, that mentality that you have to bring to the locker room.
The most disappointing thing about all this is that I know it's the thing where LeBron James was like, oh, I had nothing to do with it. But when you, as a player, ignore what the coach draws up on the board, he draws up a play, you ignore that and tell your guys, hey, we're going to do this instead, you're done as a coach.
Could you imagine him saying that to Doc Rivers?
Oh my God, Dr.
I don't think even towards the end of his career in Miami, he didn't say that to
Coach
Spoelstra.
Pop.
Oh God,
Pop just would rip him a new one.
And see, that's why Pop has these superstars like Tony Parker and Tim Duncan, but he manages to keep them humble and say, "No, you're in my system. I'm not in your system."
Pretty much. And that's the thing. And like I said, that's the thing where it's like I respect LeBron James. He is a fantastic basketball player.
Yes.
But at the same time, though, the whole 4 or 5 years ago when he was like, oh, I'm taking my talents down to Miami, I lost respect for him then. And then when I heard the whole thing of him drawing up plays, ignoring the coach and whatnot, I'm sorry, you're a player. You're not a coach. You're supposed to, be the general on the floor. Your coach is the general of all of you, but you're like the second in command on the floor. You will never hear of Lionel Messi, Corey Perry. You never hear well, I'll get to football in a minute. You never hear, like Jeff Gordon, go against his crew chief. You never hear Lionel Messi get mad at his coach. You'll never hear Wayne Rooney or anyone Manchester United get mad at Louis van Gaal, even though he's a horrible manager for them right now. I don't want to talk about that. That's just a whole nother situation. That's for another show next week, possibly. But you never hear of a pitcher, saying, oh, I don't want to come out. No. You'll have pitchers say, I think I can do it. And yes, managers will go with that in MLB, but then what happens 9 times out of 10, the pitcher throws a home run, the pitcher throws the ball, home run, and then the manager's like, crap.
Anybody who's ever played for the Colts or the Broncos will tell you that Peyton Manning has his pulse on every single little thing that the offense does.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that he calls his own plays or is the offensive coordinator.
The only time a quarterback will call their own plays is if they're calling an audible. And it's because they see something. They're like, okay, they changed up the defense scheme for this play. Hey, we're going to do this instead. That makes sense.
And he has conversations on the bench with the offensive coordinator, and he says, hey, this is what I'm noticing. This is what I'm seeing out on the field. This is what we're comfortable running. Let's work with that. It's a team effort.
I feel like it was like since day one when David Blatt stepped into the Cavaliers organization, I think LeBron was like, this is my team. I don't care who the head coach is.
Well, it clearly was. It was the wrong decision to hire him.
Yeah.
He wasn't, like, no disrespect. Well, yeah, kind of a little bit of disrespect to David Blatt. He's not the kind of guy to run that roster, and he never was.
I mean, I think it's, and I remember what some ESPN columnist wrote about this. He was like, David Blatt walked into his organization thinking, okay, I have Kyrie Irving and I have a young squad. I can mold them. Mm-hmm. But it was like when they got Kevin Love and when they got LeBron, all that was gone.
Yeah.
All that was gone.
It's just the wrong move. It's another bad decision by the Cleveland. They're trying to correct it now. Give them credit.
But this is the funny thing. I laughed at. When their first game under Tyronn Lue, lost. Mm-hmm. Next game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, not one of the best teams in the East, not really a good team, period.
Nah.
They only won, I think, by 5. As a team, the top team in the East, you would expect them to blow out Minnesota by 20 points. I mean, look at what Golden State did against the San Antonio Spurs. They beat them by 30. And that's the 1 versus the 2 in the West. And they blew them out by 30. And you're telling me the Cavaliers can only beat Minnesota by 5? I'm sorry. It's one of the things. I'm sorry, and I'm not meaning when I say this. I hope to God that this all comes back and it hits the Cavaliers really bad. I hope they lose like in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh.
I hope they lose the first spot in the East. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
You want to treat a coach that way? You don't want to pull LeBron's side and be like, look, LeBron, you have to understand, this is his team. You are the player. He is the coach. You don't want to get your players in control like that. I'm sorry. I wish the worst of luck on the Cleveland Cavaliers this season from now on.
Look, my theory is that Cleveland will never win another championship.
They won't. That city is cursed.
I mean, when you name your sports team the Browns, like your mascot is a piece of fudge. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your sports? And so,
well, I mean, to be fair, the mascot of the Pittsburgh Steelers is a towel.
Oh, you. All right, but if we shift our focus a little bit to what you were just talking about, the Golden State Warriors, since this is our first show, obviously the Golden State Warriors have been dominant for a very long time. This is the first time we've had a chance to talk about them. Golden State Warriors are a very, very good basketball team.
They're gonna win.
They get the reputation as only a jump shooting team because that's what ESPN shows on the highlights and on SportsCenter and on Top 10.
But they can go inside.
Oh my gosh. Steph Curry, not only is he the best shooter we've ever seen, he's one of the best passers and assist men in the game. That team, they can rebound. They are one of the best defensive teams in the league. Like, they just get this reputation for only shooting up jump shots and not really doing anything else. They are a very complete basketball team.
But it's that funny thing, though, where it's like, yeah, they keep putting up jump shots. I mean, yeah, let's say they keep putting up jump shots. They're still going to beat you.
Yeah.
Because they can get you from beyond the arc. They can get you from any spot on the floor. They can, even you're in the paint, you take a quick jump shot. They got you.
They'd be a playoff team if you took away the three-point shot.
Oh my God, they would still be like the best team.
They'd be in the
league.
top 4. They're just so. I mean, you heard Greg Popovich say it last night or the other night after they blew out the Spurs. Granted, without Tim Duncan and at Golden State, but you heard him say that team is just so well disciplined, so well coached. They know exactly what they're doing and they know what they're supposed to do.
And again, there's that difference of the coaching. Again, the whole David Blatt, and look at and the thing that's impressing most with Golden State. Kerr has been Stephen Kerr, who is their head coach. He's been out the first half of the season because of a back.
He has not head coached the game yet.
Back surgery, yeah. And I think he's now coached like 2 or 3 games now.
Okay.
And so it's like, yeah, he's back now. But it's like their 13-0 run was under one of the assistant head coaches of
Walton.
Golden State, huh?
Mr. Luke Walton.
Yeah. And they went 30-0. You know, that says a lot. And to me, I think you look at the culture of the Cleveland Cavaliers, you look at the culture of the Golden State Warriors, and that's where you see just how different it is, and that is why Golden State, I think, is going to repeat. I think they're going to blow out whoever they play in the East. I think they're going to blow out whoever they play in the West. I can see them breaking the Chicago Bulls record. I can see them doing it. They just need to play focused and whatnot. But like I said, though, it is that difference in the culture. he in Golden State, Kerr has this thing of respect, but he also talks to his players and makes sure they know what's going on, all that jazz. They don't think, oh, Stephen Kerr's a moron, I'm going to do this play. They would never do that.
Yeah.
LeBron and the Cavaliers, though, and that's why they'll never win. I'm sorry.
We keep using this word culture, and it's sort of hard to describe and maybe even harder to see, but it's very, very evident when you don't see it. And there are a handful of teams that simply do not have a winning culture and don't really have no culture to speak of.
Yeah.
Cavaliers have been one of them.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Even though they have put up winning seasons.
They have put up winning seasons.
They do not have that winning
But they're a tremendously talented team. I'm convinced that the Carolina Panthers could win 9 or 10 games if they had some scrub. You or I could head coach the Carolina Panthers.
And they would win 8 or 9
games.
As long as you come in there with respect to me and then respect to the players, that's a perfect culture. And like I said, you put it perfectly. Certain teams just don't have that. Cleveland's one of them. So we'll see how long this bites them.
Yeah.
I hope to God they just plummet.
I don't think you have to worry too much about it.
No, it's not gonna,
I can't really. I see them getting to the finals simply because I don't know who is going to beat them.
There's no good
in
team
the Eastern
East,
Conference.
Really. The East is such a weak conference compared to the West. I mean, and you can say the same exact thing too about the NHL now because there've been a Western team has won the Cup the past 5 years, and it's been either LA or Chicago.
Yeah.
But at least with the East, you did at least for the past couple of years have had the Rangers, Montreal, Washington, Tampa Bay last year. They were all at least really competitive teams. Now this year it's only Washington and whatnot. But like I said, that's been way more evident in the NBA where the East. I almost said West again. The East is such a weak conference. But then you have the West, and it's just that West conference is just so delayed to play in.
Yeah, I mean you have teams like Oklahoma City that are getting completely overlooked, even though they're a tremendously talented team, simply because the Spurs and the Warriors are demolishing every semblance of what we knew to be great basketball.
True that. All right, John, we have, I think, enough time for one more topic.
All right, let's finish off. Okay, so...
Finish it strong.
Okay, so I love the NFL draft.
Yes,
This
you do.
is the second season. This is my favorite part of the offseason is when we're starting to prep for the NFL draft. So maybe not every week, but every other week or so, I'm going to come in. I'm going to bring you the guys that I've been looking at so far. I'm going to bring you who I think is going to be the top player at that position because I'm doing it positionally. So I'm going to start looking at quarterbacks this week. I'm going to move down to running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and so forth and so on.
So who are your top quarterbacks right now?
Okay, top quarterbacks right now. This is just based on initial rankings, based on looking at who the media likes, and having watched a few games, I'm going with Jared Goff as my top quarterback from University of California at Berkeley. And to be honest, I really don't think it's going to be that close. People talk about Paxton Lynch. I watched his bowl game. It wasn't impressive in the least.
Which ones? Who's he play for?
He plays for Memphis, which is a small school.
Yeah. Okay, no, you're right. I remember that game.
Yeah, they're outside the Power 5.
That was a rough game for him.
And I think he's getting all this attention because he had a very successful first half of the season.
Yeah.
But he slowly declines, and now I think people are starting to look at him with more of a realistic eye. He's falling down a few draft.
That reminds me, that's like the whole thing with Haydenberg. I think Hackenberg from Penn State.
Yes.
Same thing. He had a phenomenal freshman year, and now he's been struggling ever
After his freshman year, I had him pegged as Andrew Luck. I said he's going to be the number 1 overall pick, and he's going to start immediately, and he's going to win 7
And where do you have
games.
him now?
I have him as my 5th ranked quarterback. Oh. To be honest, I think he was misused in the system after his freshman year because he's very much a pro-style quarterback in the way of an Andrew Luck. But, man, he's taken a beating that can really damage a player. That can really shake a player's confidence. I hate saying that a player's been damaged, but, I mean, when you get absolutely slaughtered every Saturday the way that he had for the last two years, it's really not fair to see a talent like that destroyed. We'll see. I think he's got tremendous arm. He probably has the best pure arm talent.
Yeah, we'll see at the the combine will say a lot about these quarterbacks. I mean, the one thing I remember, it was talking about that quarterback from University of California. I was like, a University of California quarterback at number 1?
Yeah,
like the number 1 quarterback. What?
And he's almost there by default.
Yeah,
but you're right. I will be very interested to see how Goff performs at the combine and at all these other pre-draft events, his pro day.
I really am curious to see just like this is good. I think this is one of the weaker quarterback classes they've had in the past 5-6 years.
Yeah,
it definitely is.
I don't think it's as weak as the 2013 class where EJ Manuel was selected.
Oh man, that was rough.
in the first round. That was the Geno Smith class as well, and the Ryan Nassib class. That was my first class setting.
I have no idea what the Jets are going to do with Geno Smith. That's I think a topic for another day though, because I mean it
certainly is.
Yeah, I mean that whole thing with Geno Smith. I mean I'm really curious to see what the Jets decide to do with that, because that's just rough.
But yeah, next week I'll hopefully come in with a more refined idea of the quarterbacks. I'll take a look at Goff. I really can't see him slipping from the first quarterback position.
Next week, let's start off. Then let's talk about quarterbacks.
Let's do it. Let's do it. It's a plan.
High five.
All right. It's 1:50. I've got to go to class.
Oh, I got to go to class.
Zach's got to go to class.
Yep. So, yeah.
I think this has been a pretty good first show.
This was a great first show. This is a great first show.
Remember, you can see us every Wednesday, 1 to 2.
Well, they can see us around campus if they.
That's true. You can see us anytime if you don't see you. Just call me. You can hear us. You can't. You can't even see us.
Yeah, you won't get mad at me for calling out on grammar.
Excuse me, sir. You can hear us every Wednesday, 1 to 1:50 on WCNRadio.com. You can also hear us every Friday from 3 to 4:30 when we will talk about video games. Yes. Probably not as much sports because we got it out of our system today.
Finally.
But we're going to be talking about
unless something crazy
games.
happens tomorrow.
Yeah, like Madden.
Right.
I don't know. Combining the two worlds.
Right.
Anyway, thank you for listening. This has been the Jay-Z Sports Talk.
Yeah. Perfect.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys. See you Friday.